Baby's here. I think there's money, or there will be more money when you are a holistic candidate. I don't think you should pursue a social science degree, regardless of whether it's politics or something else, because you want to be wealthy. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dambisa for all the newcomers, and welcome back to my regular subscribers. I see the numbers are going up, which really makes me happy. I've got a goal to reach 500 subscribers before the year ends. Let's see if we get there. So let's get straight into business regarding today's topic. You can see from the title that I'm discussing my career. I haven't done some career content in a while. I actually got called out by my gran, who watches this channel religiously, and she said that she felt a little bit robbed by the video where I get into my career and I basically try to contextualize how I got into politics, why I decided to pursue that particular career path. And for those who haven't watched, I'd really encourage you to watch that, and they'll put a link somewhere up here because I think it will contextualize what I'm about to discuss today, where I'm really getting into the nitty-gritty of my particular career journey. And I guess the question of, is there really money in politics? Is it worth pursuing this career path? If so, why? And I'll share from my perspective. So you'll know, if you've watched my content so far, I'm driven by purpose. I'm driven by why am I on this earth, to do what, to what end. And so I'm really not the most materialistic person. I did not pick my career or I didn't pursue politics because I thought there was money. That was never the thought process. However, we can't ignore the socioeconomic context and the realities of, the world, of this capitalistic world, and particularly my country, where we are known to be one of the most unequal countries in the world. So with that said, you can't blindly just pursue a career. You also have to consider, am I going to be able to be happy? Am I going to be able to make a living out of this? So I don't want to be living hand to mouth. And we come from a community that considers our families. And whether or not people agree with that or not is a whole different conversation. But, you want to be successful because you know that you'll be able to pay it forward, whether that means paying it forward to your direct family or relatives, or whether that means to your community. So that was definitely top of mind for me as well. I did not want to do a career where I would feel like, oh, maybe I won't get jobs. But with that said, my first motivation and how I even ended up in this line of work was always driven by passion, driven by my strengths. I always followed, what am I good at? What am I interested in? And found myself in this role. And mind you, what I'm doing now, I never saw it presented to me. I never saw somebody doing it. I never saw it modeled for me. And in many ways, I had to also sort of find my own path. So in my particular journey, the motivation was not necessarily money. It was a consideration, but it wasn't the motivation. And I've gone through many seasons in my career journey where I did not make enough. I made enough to be able to rent an apartment, to be able to have transportation to go to work, to be able to have something to eat. But I never... there were seasons within my career journey where I didn't have much left over, and I still felt motivated to do the work. So let that be known that that isn't my motivation, and that's probably the reason why my career journey also looks very different. So let's get candid about it. In my career journey, I have always been a above average student, and I was always one of those people who put their hand up, volunteered, was always kind of like an eager beaver. We know those in high school. The people who sit in the second row maybe of the class, asking questions, the people who put their hand up to be class prefect, the people who put their hand up to make announcements. I was that person. Anyone who's watching now and knows me since then will know that Dee has always been a person who loved being active. And I do think that has played in my favor. And that, personality trait, or those personality traits, are things that I still carry with me throughout my journey. And I think they definitely have benefited to my growth and the pace of my growth. So again, I'd encourage people to go watch the other video for more context on that. But in terms of the specifics of my journey, I studied a Bachelor of Arts in Political Studies at the University of the Western Cape. That is a BA degree. Bachelor of Arts degrees are known to be degrees that are relatively easier to get into as long as you have a certain pass, you are able to get into Bachelor of Arts courses. But I think what sets Bachelor of Arts courses apart is being really strategic in how you pick your majors and your minors, and is it electives? And it's been so many years since I studied. But yeah, you have to be really strategic about why are you doing this degree and what types of subjects, modules make sense together. And I think that does set certain BA graduates apart. So I did political sciences and communication as a combination. So those were my two majors. I then eventually focused on political studies, political sciences. But along the way, I did modules like psychology. What else did I do? Linguistics, I've mentioned. So I would plead to people who are considering to do a Bachelor of Arts degree to be strategic. You know, no one is discouraging you from doing the degree, but, you know, we also can't shy away from the fact that because it's a degree that is relatively easier to get into, I think there's a tendency for people to take the course or the degree for the sake and are not as strategic in their thinking. You have all these beautiful subjects and amazing and interesting subjects and modules available to you, but I think you have to be very mindful about why am I taking or selecting certain modules to what end. I think the purpose of a degree as a whole is to really sharpen our critical thinking skills, our writing skills, and Bachelor of Arts degrees are known for being that type of degree. So regardless of what you do, I think every graduate walks away with a sharpened mind, you know, with critical thinking skills, being able to apply themselves in a certain way. And I don't think I would be able to do the work I do without that degree, to be very honest. So that really definitely contributed to my growth and my path, and I would do it over. After I did my Bachelor of Arts degree, I then did honors, which for those who are watching or not from South Africa, it's a 1 year course degree that you do between your bachelor and your master's. I know in other countries you go straight from your bachelor to your master's. And after my honors degree in political studies, I continued to do my master's in political studies, but then I stopped. And a lot of people don't know this about my journey. I started my master's and I did them for about just under a year. And I really enjoyed it, actually. And I had an amazing tutor, Prof. Anciano, if she's watching. I think the whole political studies department is brilliant. But I stopped. I stopped to be able to focus on motherhood. I already had my daughter at the time, and to also be able to focus on my career, because there were a lot of career commitment work events that I simply just could not attend because of studies. And so I had to find this balance of what do I now want to focus on. And the priority at the time for me was to focus on my career, to be able to get some money. And in hindsight, although it was motivated by finances, it also made more strategic sense to be able to pause my master's. So I also want to not discourage people who are maybe finding themselves a little bit on a dead end. Should I continue with this? Whatever your reasons are. I think, you know, you can always come back to studies. It's not going anywhere. There are people in their 50s who start degrees from scratch. But if that makes sense for your career path, don't be discouraged. I think for people who tend to be overachievers, we sometimes think that we're not allowed to take breaks. So I think be gentler on yourself, you know, and your journey. It definitely helped me to take a break from masters. A lot of people take breaks from their studies. A lot of people take breaks from their studies to pursue other things, and we don't talk about it enough, but sometimes it's necessary. So I think I get into that a lot more in my other video. All this to say, I then did start my master's, and I think it did, you know, work in my favor to have started that journey. And definitely it's something that I do acknowledge in my CV, although not completed, and I state my reasons for not completing it. It is a part of my academic journey. And hopefully one day I'll be able to finish my master's and go all the way to PhD, because I do enjoy academia and I do think it's valuable for a career path. So for those who are watching and are thinking, I don't have a master's, maybe I didn't even start like Dee did, do I stand a chance at getting any jobs? And I think you do. I think you do. Just from my own journey alone, I think what worked in my favor was, like I said, being the eager beaver, putting my hand up for things, participating, having had so much work experience by the time I actually started to actually professionally work outside of the context of school or university. I had already shown that I have an ability to lead processes, an ability to learn, and to do various types of roles. And I do think that played in my favor. So if you don't have your master's, if you don't foresee pursuing it, whether it is for financial reasons or whatever, and you're worried about your career path, I'd say invest in your soft skills, invest in your leadership skills, and put your hand up, volunteer, find a mentor in your line of work. I've sat on the other side of selecting people for jobs, and we do look at a person holistically. So yes, a master's is just an indication of your ability to do certain skills. However, if employers see that this person, there's a track record of this person having put their hand up for certain things, a track record of this person applying themselves in several ways, and has experience, you will definitely be considered for a job. They are very, I find it hard to believe, even from my own experience, I find it hard to believe that there are employers who won't give a job to a candidate who has a lot of experience, but by virtue of just not having a master's degree or even an honors degree, they will not get the job. I don't know that I've never experienced that personally. I applied for a job that needed somebody to have 5 years of experience. I only had 3 actual professional experience. It required somebody to have a master's. I did not have a master's, and I still got that job. And it wasn't a job at a junior level. So I don't think that applied to my particular journey, professional journey. And just from my own, Liana even agrees. And just from the journey of my peers, this is something I can also attest to. So I do think, yes, if you want to pursue a master's, it will always be advantageous. It's not something that will set you back. Not now saying don't do master's degrees. But we know that, and we live in a world where people don't pursue postgrad studies for all kinds of reasons. And I know enough people who have a great career without having a master's degree. But there's a but. Once I started working, I did a lot of upskilling. And that is also visible in my CV. I did short courses. I've done all kinds of brilliant short courses through GIZ specifically. They have an academy. Short courses on consultancy, short courses on being able to handle change management processes, short courses on facilitation, stakeholder engagement. You name it. These are all skills that you learn over time. People who have 15 years, 10 years of experience, this is stuff that you need to know. And although I don't have a master's as it stands, a potential employer will see that I have a track record of also applying myself and continuing to learn and grow. So although a master's degree is not reflected, a completed one, what is reflected is growth. What is reflected is leadership skills. What is reflected is a continuous willingness to grow. And that, I think, sets you apart. So for those people watching thinking, is there money in politics? Is there money in these degrees? I think there's money, or there will be more money, when you are a holistic candidate. When you are a candidate who stands out, who's put in the work, regardless of specific degrees. So that's something that I want people to really know and understand. And that's something I want people to take. If there's anything you take away from this video, it's exactly that. So let's fast forward to the most important question, which is there money in this field at all? I don't think you should pursue a social science degree, regardless of whether it's politics or something else, because you want to be wealthy and a millionaire. I think you should pursue a social science degree because you genuinely feel like you want to make a contribution in the world. The money will come. It's a cliche, but the money will come. So I don't think you should be motivated by money alone. You should be motivated by change, motivated by your why, motivated by a genuine... You should be motivated by genuinely wanting to make a contribution in the world. I sound extremely cliche, but the reason why I say it is because when there's passion in the work, when you genuinely enjoy doing the work, it will show. It will show in the way that you show up as a professional, how far you're willing to invest in your own growth, and I think when you're good at your job, you are going to make money. You are going to be successful, and there are going to be rewards along the way. So that would be my advice. That's as real as I can be about the topic. If you like your job, you're going to do well in it. That's the logic. At least that's my experience of it. So what types of jobs can people do, with their political sciences degree? You can be an analyst. You can be a political analyst working for parliament, working for certain media outlets. Some people do it independently. They freelance. You can be a journalist. That's a very popular route where a lot of people who've studied, political sciences go on and become journalists. That's definitely something that I wanted to do before I pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Political Studies. I wanted to be a journalist. You can go on and do a law degree. A lot of people combine this degree, which I think is a very smart move. I don't know of stories where people take that route without doing a law degree additionally. I don't think it is possible. You can take a completely different path altogether. I know a lot of people who start doing politics, or maybe they're an analyst in parliament and they end up, in IT. Again, it goes back to my point in the beginning that this particular degree sharpens your thinking and critical thinking skills and writing skills. And I think with that, you're able to maybe morph into many different types of degrees. And a lot of people make a change. You can go into marketing. That is also a popular route. And be an educator, a teacher. Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind for me, and the ones that I've also seen in real time. I mean, sometimes there's these degrees written online, but you've never actually witnessed anyone have that growth or journey. And it depends which country you're in. In certain countries, certain parts politically are also possible, and other countries not so much. I do think within the South African context, we don't have a lot of people who do political studies and then go on and be a politician, but that's obviously also possible. If anything, we probably need more of those people in those political seats. So yes, those are the degrees that come to mind. My path is very different. I mean, I studied it and ended up in development work as an advisor, as a technical advisor, which is basically like management consulting, but within the development sector. And that's also possible. Is there money? Depends on what you do. Depends on how much experience you have. With about 5 years experience, you can have enough to have your own apartment, have a car, be able to fend for yourself, and have a lot left over. With about 8-10 years experience, even more money. Comparatively to other sectors like the banking and maybe law even, we don't make, nearly as much money. But there's enough money. There's enough money. This career path has enough money, and you'll be fulfilled while doing it. And I think that's a win. That's a good win. More specific figures, it really depends with which route did you take out of the different parts that I mentioned, or career options that I mentioned. And you have to be willing to innovate and grow and change, and be an eager beaver. With that comes more happiness and definitely more money. If there's any specifics or there's something that you feel like I didn't touch on, let me know. But let me leave it there. Motherhood duties call. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and catch you next time.